Hello everyone, welcome to #Caffeinated Saradaga Nalugu Matalu. We bring you some freshly brewed conversations. So far, our interaction with diverse personalities have covered a wide range of topics. Yet, there are a few topics which need to be discussed, talked openly. Today, we're going to do the same. We have Prijith P K with us at #Caffeinated. Prijith is a queer and Dalit rights activist. He's a co-founder of Queer Rhythm LGBTIQ community, a community-based organization in Kerala. Queer Rhythm works with queer people for their rights, visibility, and acceptance through various projects. He is a speaker and has led some hundreds of engagements at different schools, colleges, and offices on LGBTIQ and human rights issues. I can't wait to welcome him, but before that, I'm Vidya. Let the talks begin. So, welcome to #Caffeinated.
My pleasure. Thank you.
So, before we begin, I'll briefly describe the session. We have two segments here. First segment involves questions surrounding the main topic, and second segment is rapid fire round. It's all about fun. So, let's begin with the first segment now. When it comes to gender, welcoming the differences and accepting different possibilities is something our country is still getting used to. Even today, most of the individuals are expelled by their natal families after revealing their identity. What is the reason for this?
In a general way, as a country, India is diverse in their culture, geographically, topographically, diversity everywhere. But at the same time, the people, the citizens, even different cultures have their own so-called traditional values and all. It's all moral and religious, fundamental, and very rigorous to change. So people are reluctant to accept change. People are not ready to embrace identities, the diversities in identity.
Yeah.
But at the same time, India as a geographical entity, they are very homosocial. At the very same time, they are very homophobic, queerphobic in general. Uh, which means, we have no problem with, sharing the brotherhood or, socialhood relations among queer people. But at the very moment they reveal their identity, the people, the mass, the public, the family, they became very, phobic.
Yes.
And they're ready to attack, with words or even with physical, force or something. So homosocial in the sense, we can two homosexual people or homoromantic people can express their feelings even in public. We can walk together, we can sit together, even we can share the intimate, not the so-called intimacy, but we can share our a personal space even in public. The very moment we, people realize our identity, they became very phobic. But in Western countries, I remember a vlogger's video. It shows, he's saying like, in India, we can see people, they are, walking together, but they are not gays or they are not lesbian. The kind of emotion or bond we are sharing are very, if I say, homoromantic in many ways.
Yeah.
But knowingly or unknowingly, we have such, culture in that sense. But as we are aware, the so-called cultural or traditional people are saying the queer identity or politics all came from the West or the European. They spread everything to us. So these kind of false information, misinformations are spreading. So the approach of a family, the approach of society towards queer identities, queer people, or gender diverse identities are very, uh, uh, primitive in that sense. So these kind of traditional so-called values are propagating from generation to another generation.
Yes.
So where can be place, where can be find queer identities, gender diversities in these, so-called tradition or traditional values. So it's very difficult to accept, even to, publicize or reveal or come out or, leave or fight for our rights. Even it's very difficult. Even, I can recall some moments from the legal sides. Legal fights happen in courts.
Yes.
Even our judges, the magistrates or higher order judges, judicial officers, they didn't have any idea about queer identities. We have an odd example from Madras High Court. The High Court judge, he allowed himself to educate, sensitize himself to know better about the community. That kind of personalities are very rare. So the answer to the question is like, our society is very phobic at a time, and they are not ready to change. They are not ready to accept the changes or the diversity. So for people like, who falls in the queer identities, they need to fight, they need to move forward, they need to, come out, they need to, even struggle. If I know that's very sad to say, but we need to struggle more to publicize, to sensitize for the visibility of queer identities.
Yes.
So, the binary, the way our education system, the way our society, the attitudes are binary oriented. So even we cannot place, transgender people in that binary, gender queer people in that binary, non-binary people in that binary, even, intersex in the sex category. So it's very difficult to place or break or think beyond that binary. So the initial, step one can take is, educate themselves. Just take your smartphone, Google, and, educate yourself. Unless or otherwise, what happens is that a next generation is coming. Just, a new generation is following you, and they will overcome you. They will teach you. I mean, we hope in the next generation, but again, a sad part is like, the so-called traditional people, the so-called conventional people are spoiling even their brains.
Yeah.
So it's very challenging. It's very hard. It's very, struggle even, I mean, in the coming days.
Yes. Now, speaking about education system, my parents, like all our parents, were taught in their school that there are two possibilities, XX and XY. Okay. I learned the same thing when I was in school, and even today, kids are learning the same thing. So, how do you see this? How can we change the education system? How is education system really misleading us?
Uh, to answer this particular question,
Hmm.
are our teachers sensitized?
Hmm.
Are the curriculum committee are sensitized? Are the, educational experts, the so-called wizards or educational scientists, researchers, scholars, are they sensitized enough? Are they, have the enough quality of, acceptance, diversity? No. Even, for many curriculum, for many syllabus, white is good and black is bad.
Yes.
Who is beautiful?
Who is it?
Beautiful is, someone who is fair,
Yes.
who is tall.
Hmm.
So we have some models, we have some frameworks, we have some structures. So
Yes.
to break the structure is very difficult. The
Hmm.
positive side, I witnessed is like, in Kerala recently, the educational minister,
Hmm.
comrade Shivan Kuti, he suggested, he revised the committee, the curriculum committee, to accommodate, to revise in another way the educational system in Kerala. So he included a transgender in the committee, which means a change is going to happen at least here. So the ideas, so the concerns even became more sensitized way. So inclusion of diversity is very important in any sector. It's not limited in education or curriculum or syllabus or something, or in the primary education or higher education or collegiate education. But inclusion of different opinion, inclusion of different ideas, inclusion of diversities, in a forum is very important. So I think as far as in the new educational policy of the country is concerned, it again gives us more doubts, gives us more, they place us in a dilemma, like, how to even teach, educate, research, and in many ways. So to educate our society, to educate the generation, we need a strong research-based, a strong inclusive education system from preschool to college or research from university level.
Yes.
That's not happening. That's not happening in our country. Maybe in higher education sector, maybe in universities, people are including diversity, even about disability, about queer identity, about subaltern thoughts, ideas, theories. But these things are not seen in the primary level. So think about the the professional education. In what way they are educated in our colleges, the doctors, the lawyers, the judicial officers, the accounting officers, and in many ways, the professionals are also not sensitized to accommodate diversities. They're not they're learning things in their old fashioned way. That's why doctors are ready to queer the queer people. Doctors are ready to do so-called conversion therapy. The lawyers are even phobic. So the way, the approach, the research, the basic structure should be changed in accordance with the changes, in accordance with the scientific manner, in accordance with the humanitarian values, in accordance with the legal frameworks. So that we can expect a change, not in the primary education itself, but in all kinds of education, professional way. A social education is needed. What happened in the transgender identities, their life, legally they were accepted. Governments, various state governments, central ministry, union ministry, even started welfare schemes. But what happened in society? Society still stand in the in that old road, in that old position.
Yes.
They never changed.
Yes.
They are treating trans people are like beggars, sex workers, not human beings, or not cohabitants. So the kind of approach didn't change.
Yes.
So that kind of we need a social education. We need not a kind of sensitization, but a social education is needed.
Yes.
So that kind of system can change. That kind of approach can update the approach, the way we receive different kind of peoples across us. I'm not going to limit this doubt to the queer people alone, but to the Dalit, Adivasi, SCST, minority, disabled people, all kinds of marginalized identities. These kind of prejudiced approaches are there in our mind because of the class, caste consciousness we possess, from the day we born. So
Yes.
that kind of mental freeze the way we are living.
Yeah. Actually, the thing is, like you said about all other marginalized communities, Dalits or other communities, actually, even young children, even children do know that these people exist. They know that.
I have an interesting thing to say.
Mm.
I know a college professor
Mm.
who asked me directly, "Do you think cars exist here?"
Mm.
In a very simple, innocent way.
Mm.
What is the answer? An educated, high class, high,
Mm.
salarized person,
Mm.
a so-called educated person have no idea about the car system, which, works around us. So, children, I mean, let you complete your question. I'll
Yeah.
answer it.
No, I was just saying the same thing. I mean, like, even children do at least know that there are other communities, but they realize that there is another possibility of gender after certain age. They only realize it after certain point. It happened to me as well. I learned that there are other possibilities of gender, maybe when I was in eighth standard or something.
When we engage with children, the
Mm.
school children, or students, the happy thing is that they are trying to update themselves.
Mm.
They are trying to learn diversities. They are ready, even ready, and accept us,
Yes.
accept the gay, lesbian, trans, different identities.
Yeah.
How they are getting these kind of information, maybe from social media, maybe
Mm.
from mass media, maybe from reading, other ways.
Mm.
But they're trying, at least they are trying to educate, accommodate diversities.
Yes.
But these things are not happening with the youngsters or the
Mm.
elders. Even they are not ready. That's the sad part. But
Yeah.
children, at some point of time, we never call trans people as below the age of 18. We never call them as trans man or
Mm.
trans woman. We
Mm.
call them as gender non-conforming individuals, or persons.
Yes. Yes.
Even they cannot identify the gender.
Mm.
But we know, from childhood onwards, trans people, even genderqueer people have the kind of feeling, I am not okay with the body, which
Mm.
assigned for me, or
Yeah.
I am not comfortable with the body. This
Mm.
is not me. This is not real me.
Mm.
I am something different.
Mm.
Maybe gay people or lesbian, myself, yeah, I have a struggle, in my school time,
Mm.
why I wanted to love, or, why I got, attraction to, my classmates, or,
Mm.
boys.
Mm.
Am I, okay? Or
Mm.
is anything happening to me? What is happening? Even that's again, confusion.
Yeah.
So to the queer people, queer children are concerned, they were confused. That's totally true. They were confused.
Mm.
No such system exists to address their concerns,
Confusion. Yeah. Yes.
even their, the so-called issues,
Mm.
emotional issues also.
Mm.
They may be, very good at studies, but they cannot, they could not focus on studies.
Yeah.
So they became, fool, or poor. Their performances were become, false or
Mm.
poor in that way. So many things are connected, many such things are connected, but
Mm.
the present system is failed to address such
Yeah.
issues. So
Yes.
we need a more sensitized, more sensible approach to address such systems, so that I think, our school children can fly with their
Mm.
true colors. I
Yeah.
have one more anecdote to I share with you.
Sure.
My cousin, shared
Mm.
her child, he was studying in second standard,
Mm.
who went to school with nail polish,
Okay.
and friends, abused and laugh at him.
Mog.
And
Yeah.
that's an usual thing.
Mm.
Usual within courts.
Yes.
But the surprising thing is, that's in government school. His school teacher, class teacher supported him. She,
Okay.
with much, support, and said like, this is his choice now.
Yeah.
It's for him.
Mm.
This is not your business. So that kind of sensitization, updated version
Mm.
came to the school teachers. That's very, happy thing.
Yeah.
At the same, time, his friend who studied in a private school,
Mm.
they he even put the nail polish. I
Mm.
think they were did it together. He
Okay.
went to the school, private school. His teacher, take him to the principal's office and fine him,
Mm.
charged a fine to
Mm.
do some, that kind of unethical, a code of conduct. He break the code of conduct of the school. So
Oh.
that's a breaking of the school in that way. So
Mm.
the kind of approach, the approach of the school,
Mm.
even the authority are different in different locations,
Yes,
in different ways.
certainly.
So the way we can, what we can do as an individual, as a
Mm.
responsible individual, is like, to be very frank, I'm saying, like, we should sensitize ourselves and let others to live as they want.
Yeah.
That's the best thing we can do. Maybe in our school, in our home, I mean, in the home, in our, working space,
Mm.
or that kind of practice can help us to improve ourselves in society. The societal behavior is very important, so
Yes.
that we didn't laugh at a transgender at a bus stop.
Mm.
We never hesitate to sit with a queer person in a
Mm.
bus or train or somewhere else.
Mm.
We never hesitate to, or reject from our friendship, I mean, isolate our gay friends or
Mm.
lesbian friends if
Mm.
they reveal their identity. So
Yeah.
that kind of social education can, personal education can help ourselves, you
Yes.
know not
Sure.
to become a laughing stock, I mean, in this modern world.
Yes. Yes. That was beautiful. Now, so can we talk about? Sorry. I take this back. Sorry. Okay. Can we talk about your struggle, your own struggle? What did you go through?
Okay. The thing is, I mentioned about the way I received my identity, acknowledged my identity during my school time.
Mm.
I was a lover to some girls
Mm.
because of the pressure, because
Mm.
of the so-called pressure. I was in a thought like, if I was not in love with a girl, what others think?
Okay.
What my I mean, friends,
Mm.
boyfriend, I mean, the friends,
Yes.
male friends, or the classmates think about me. Think, I mean,
Mm.
of course they think about me.
Mm.
That's why I got a pressure, and I enacted like, I'm in love with that girl, and
Mm.
I even purchased that greetings cards in Valentine's Days, and wrote something and gave her.
Mm.
But at the same time, I was in, I had a kind of attraction, love, kind of romantic feelings
Mm.
towards, I mean, my boys, or
Yes. Yes.
gens, or elder I mean,
Mm.
boys.
Mm.
But I failed to identify what kind of emotion was that,
Mm.
because nobody is there to ask such question, afraid of asking such questions to parents,
Mm.
even teachers,
Mm.
youngsters. We
Yeah.
got false information from elder people about sex, intercourse,
Mm.
about the kind of pornography and something.
Yeah.
Even I got abused in many times with elders. I didn't even realize what kind of things happen. But
Mm.
the usual kind of molestation and happen also.
Mm.
uh, but later, maybe after my degree time, even I realized, these kind of identities, these kind people existed or exist. uh, that time internet and the social media was not as frequent or popular as nowadays.
As it is
So
today.
we're not yeah, we're not able to connect with people at that time. But during my post graduation and PG time, after the PG time, I got an opportunity to log into Orkut, the
Oh,
Orkut days,
yes. Yes.
Orkut and Facebook.
Mm.
And then I realized, even we had many dating apps, dating sites at
Mm.
that time. So even I just remember, like, we didn't have this kind of smartphones at that time,
Mm.
laptops at that time. So
Yeah.
I had a desktop at my home,
Mm.
and without knowing parents, I search, what is queer, what is gay, what is community, and all, that kind of related search. Searches happen,
Mm.
and learn something like, I'm not alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earlier, I thought, I am the only one person in this so-called world having these kind of feelings, likes,
Mm.
desires, even lust, something,
Mm. Yeah.
or love. But in that searching, Google searching, I realized those lakhs, millions of people exist, and this is not a disease. This is not a disorder. So
Mm.
I started learning about the identities. Even I got many false information, misinformation about homosexuality, queer identity, gender, and many things.
Mm.
But luckily, I received the good things.
Mm.
Luckily, I noticed the scientific things and touch with many communities. Even
Mm.
I participated in Pride and everything in
Mm.
Kerala, and slowly I started organizing things.
Yeah.
That's why I started organization, and part of Cure Pride Kerala to organize Pride and events.
Mm.
That kind of slow progress happened in my life,
Mm.
career, and everything. But what I did myself is like, I try to update myself. I
Mm.
try to learn, unlearn things. I try to even educate others.
Mm.
So that kind of networking helped me to even realize the identity, to propagate the identity, to spread the good message to others.
Mm.
So for me, my life was kind of struggling with double identity crisis. As
Mm.
a queer person, I struggle a lot. As a Dalit person, I struggle a lot.
Sure.
So maybe you can imagine the double oppression and marginalized individual
Mm.
experience from childhood to
Mm.
the present age.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes.
it's very difficult for as far as many persons are concerned. Even I face discrimination, even isolation from own community itself. Being a Dalit person, I face discrimination from from the community, inside the community,
Mm.
because we had a kind of feeling like queer community, queer people are living together as a community. They are leading a unique voice.
Mm.
Their voice is not monotone. Their
Mm.
voice is not the so-called conscious or sensible way.
Yeah.
The kind of cross section of Indian society seen inside the queer community. I
Mm.
take it as a self criticism. As a queer representative, I like to raise this as a criticism. Maybe
Mm.
the community can take it as a positive way or not, I don't mind, which is
Yeah.
none of my business. But the so-called things are evolving, revolving inside the community also. So
Yeah.
I don't have such love stories to share you in my school or college time. I fall in love with I fell in love with some guys in after my post graduation or during my post graduation.
Okay.
I had some relations.
Mm.
I had some a beautiful bond with my
Mm.
exes, my partners.
Mm.
So the experience I got, I enjoyed, was amazing.
Okay.
And thank you for taking me to the past.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Now, how was your family about this when you opened up?
That's again the usual Indian or Kerala Malayali Malu family, like
Okay, I
they
guess now
still
I'm
believe
taking
it
it to
is.
trauma.
No, not in that way. Still they believe like it is curable.
Mm.
He will be able to manage a
Mm.
lady, or a so-called
Mm.
opposite in within quotes
Yes.
gender, and lead a so-called, again within quotes, family. He can have so-called children and
Yes.
such that.
Yes.
I even for me, coming out means doesn't mean that you go to your parents, you go to your sister, you go to your mother or father, and
Mm.
tell them like
Mm.
ma'am,
Mm.
try to accept me, I'm a gay, I'm a lesbian, I'm a transgender. No, coming out is a kind of maturity we attain
Yeah.
from our struggle
Mm.
and the courage to reveal our identity to the society,
Mm.
not only to the family but
Mm.
to the society and myself.
Yes.
The acceptance is very important as what we are.
Mm.
For many queer people, they fail to accept themselves. That's
Mm.
very hard. That's very sad to realize.
Yes.
Even I know many people are masked, many people are using fake IDs to make love, to find their love or
Mm.
express their feelings.
Mm.
The reason behind is that they are not ready, or their capacity to identify or accept their identity
Mm.
is very low. So
Mm.
we need to get that kind of courage to identify and accept ourselves.
Mm.
That is the first coming out.
Yes.
Come out to ourselves
Yes.
and come out to our near ones.
Mm.
Near ones means maybe our teachers,
Mm.
students,
Mm.
friends,
Mm.
colleagues,
Mm.
family, parents, or anyone.
Yeah.
For me, coming out, when I theorize coming out in this way, I even have two kind of coming outs. I propagate like it's a kind of mm, what's called from family to society. It's possible.
Okay.
One to one we can communicate.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a triangle. From top to bottom,
Yeah.
from family to society.
Yes.
Even it's possible from the society to family.
Yeah.
In this way we can come out to the near ones, the
Mm.
large community,
Mm.
and narrowing that thing to our family.
Yes.
Even that is possible. So
Yeah.
these kind of two ways of coming out is possible. And coming out means accept ourselves
Ourselves and
and
yeah.
reveal ourselves.
Yes.
So in this way we can identify and we can live with
Mm.
confidence.
Yes.